It's time. It's time. It's just my thoughts time. Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to Just My Thoughts. This is Erick Coughlin. How you doing? Um, Everyone knows usually that I speak about sports, but generally this is not a sports podcast. This is just an all-around podcast. This is just my thoughts. So we're going to take a step back from the sports world today, and we're going to take a step into something I haven't done yet. This is like the first time for me. We're stepping into the movie highlights. That's absolutely right. I'm a movie buff. I absolutely love watching movies. I love movie actors, producers, um, and characters. I'm all about, if the character's real and he's in several movies, I'm all about that. I'm all about watching and following, start a series that catches my interest. I'm probably going to watch everything you put out. That's just how I'm doing. And outside of being a movie buff and being a sports buff, I'm also like, low key, I'm a game guy. I absolutely love to play games. Generally, I only play 2K and I play Madden. But as a kid, I grew up and I played everything that you can think of. And generally probably the most I played growing up was Mortal Kombat, and that's all of them. I started on the Sega Genesis with the original, and then as a grown man, I'm 35, and I will play Mortal Kombat 10. I will play Mortal Kombat 11. If you've got an N64 and you want to challenge me in MK4, I'm all the way down. I'm down to play Trilogy on the PlayStation 1. I don't care if it's Mortal Kombat. You can give me a controller and I'll have a lot of fun. So then that's what brings us into just my thoughts. This segment is, what if they created a game, a fighting game, and they created it based off of movie stars? What? I said, what if they created a fighting game based off of movie stars? Well, that sounds awesome. That does sound awesome. So this is what I would do, and I don't know how to do a lot of this computer fancy crap, right? I can't create characters, I can't create a game, I can't do nothing like that, but I can create the thought of doing it. And I have absolutely spent a little bit of time to do that today. And I think I've done very well. This is what I have come up with. I've come up with 10 movie stars, and broke them down into 24 playable characters, 21 starting the game, 3 unlockable, almost essentially kind of like a Mortal Kombat situation, but not being Mortal Kombat. Um, to me, I think it would be more interesting to kind of be like, Celebrity Deathmatch. Back in the day, that was a PlayStation 2 game, and that was kind of fun. There's millions of wrestling games. There's, 100 fighting games. Pretty much the premier fighting game is Mortal Kombat, but there's a lot of knockoffs other than Mortal Kombat. We grew up with Street Fighter. We grew up with Tekken. We grew up with Final Fight. We grew up, fighting games have been around for a very long time. So, like I said, what if they took movie stars and created a roster for a fighting game? Who would they pick and how would they pick them? I have absolutely no idea, but I've done it myself. This is what I would do as a game director, game designer, and all around game player. I would not just make this game. I would probably play this game. I would probably play this game more in Mortal Kombat. Just saying. So let's break that down. The 10 actors that I have given you. Are you ready for this? I'm giving you Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Wesley Snipes, Jackie Chan. How about I also give you Dwayne The Rock Johnson? What? Yes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But he's the only wrestler I'm giving you guys. There's been several wrestlers that have made movies, but they're not like movie stars. Like, let's be serious. The Rock is a movie star. The dude's probably played in at least 100 movies. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I haven't Googled it. Not going to Google it. I'm just going to say he's been in 100 movies. If I'm wrong, so what? I don't care. If I'm right, hey, how you doing? So, all right, back to the list. So I've given you Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've given you Sylvester Stallone. Given you Wesley Snipes. Given you Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Given you Jackie Chan. Also going to give you. I've got 5 more to give you. I'm giving you Dolph Lundgren. I'm giving you Vin Diesel, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and no other than Chuck Norris. So, that being said, that's 10 guys, just characters, not basing off of those characters. This is what I would line up as. Let's start off with Keanu Reeves first. With Keanu Reeves, and first of all, I'm gonna say this so you guys don't get confused. I'm giving you 10 actors. 7 of the 10 actors, I'm giving you 3 characters. The last 3 actors, I'm only giving you 1 character. Those would be considered my boss fights. And we'll get into that at the very latest. So we're going to start with Keanu. and we're going to finish with who I think the baddest man on the planet is, and that would be the top boss. So let's go first. Keanu. First of all, John Wick. Second of all, Kai. Kai. Who's Kai? Kai is the character off of 47 Ronin. If you have not seen it, you need to check it out. He plays a samurai. He plays part of the 47 Ronin. It's an amazing movie. He does an amazing job. Kai would be my second character. And my third character for Keanu Reeves would be Neo from, The Matrix. There how many? I don't know exactly how many Matrix movies he made. I'm gonna guess 5. There could be 6. It might only be 4, but it's up there. He made a bunch of Matrix movies, and Neo is premier. Some people think that Matrix is his best movie ever. I preferably think John Wick is his best movies ever. But all around, this dude, Keanu Reeves, has been in so much movies, it's unbelievable. He might have played in more than what you'd even know. Just look him up. You're bored one day, get on some damn YouTube, get on some Freevee, get on some Amazon, just type in Keanu Reeves. You'd be shocked with what pops up. The man is a stud. But if I have to pick 3 characters, I just did that. John Wick, Neo, and Kai. All right, character number 2, Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes, they're like, what? Why would you do that? Why would I not do that? First of all, he's a legit martial artist. And if you did not know that about Wesley Snipes is a legit premier martial artist. And I'm giving you his 3 characters right now as we speak. My 3 characters. Number 1 would be Blade. If you don't know anything about Wesley Snipes, you might know a little bit about Blade. Blade is a premier movie of the 90s. Did a phenomenal job recording those. Made 3 of them, and then they off-spread him and they took him out. He got done. He was over being Blade after the 3rd movie. But however, so there was 3 Blade movies. Number 2 character would be Simon Phoenix. What? Who's that? Who's that? Simon Phoenix is the character he played in a movie with Sylvester Stallone and Demolition Man. A phenomenal movie. I think it was recorded in 97, 98. Very old school, but very bad ass. I'm just telling you, I don't mean to cuss on this show. I like to try to keep it clean for all viewers, because I might have, my daughters might be checking me out. They're like, Dad, that's not cool. Don't do that, man. Be professional. And I'm like, I'm trying to be professional. However, I'm a grown ass man and I do cuss, so that's gonna happen. Number 3 character is Dean Cage. Well, who's Dean Cage? Dean Cage is the character he played in the movie Unstoppable. So if you haven't seen that, I'm not getting my movies mixed up. There was a Denzel Washington movie made in 2009 called Unstoppable with Runaway Train. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the movie with Wesley Snipes made in the 90s, and it is called Unstoppable, and his character was Dean Cage. Actor number 3, Sylvester Stallone. This is the easiest and probably, the best characters you can get off of this game would be Sylvester Stallone. That would be Rocky. That would be Rambo. And that would be Lincoln Hawk. Who's Lincoln Hawk? Lincoln Hawk is the character that he played in Over the Top, movie where he arm wrestled, essentially. He was a truck driver carrying his son all around town because his wife is sick or something like that. So he drive around, all over the United States as a truck driver, and every chance he got to compete in an arm wrestling contest, he competed in an arm wrestling contest. Over the Top, Lincoln Hawk. You made my list on playable characters. And again, I'm going to repeat this so you just not think I'm rambling. The Sonatic Beatdown. Just think about that. How cool of a name is that? Sonatic Beatdown. That's kind of cool. Okay, actor number 4, because we're not getting off track. We're going to go with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger's 3 characters are essentially as simple as Rocky's characters. So he would have to be the Terminator. Everybody knows that. Then he would also have to be Mr. Freeze. What? Mr. Freeze? Yes, Mr. Freeze. He played Mr. Freeze on Batman Forever in the 90s. And then also Butch. Butch was the guy he played, or Dutch. I'm sorry, not Butch, Dutch. Dutch was the character he played in The Predator. The whole famous lines of, "Get to the chopper!" All that good Lord crazy crap that everyone knows. So a lot of people think of the Terminator and a lot of people think of the Predator, and that pretty much sums it up for him. So it pretty much sums it up for me as well. So that's why Dutch has made the cut on my Sonatic Beatdown. Let's go to actor number 5. Actor number 5, I'm going to give you, Vin Diesel. Yeah, that's another good one too. So Vin Diesel, this would be fun. Vin Diesel, I'd give you Riddick from Chronicles of Riddick. I would give you Toronto off of, you know, all the Fast 10s. Like, there's 10 of those things, man, which is kind of crazy because I stopped watching them after Tokyo Drift, which was like the fourth one, but they kept on, kept on, kept on, kept on. When they got away from racing and they started doing all this crazy crap about stealing, you know, tanks from the army and all whatever crap that they've done in those movies, it's completely driven me away from the franchise. But John Torino has made the case of being on this cinematic beatdown. And then on top of that too, so not only would I give you Torino and I give you Riddick, which is really awesome. There's if you don't know a lot about Chronicles of Riddick, it's called Chronicles for a reason. There's actually a 3-stage to that movie. Perfect Dark, Chronicles of Riddick, and I'm going blank on the original. I think there's a original, and then the other two that I just listed. But anyway, so Xander Cage. Xander Cage is the character he played off of Triple X, the original Triple X. I do think like they proceeded in that, making more Triple X movies. I think Ice Cube took him over. He became, you know, whatever he became on those movies. But the Xander show, Xander Cage off of Triple X, the original, would be part of my video game. How you doing, Vin Diesel? You made the cut. And then character number 7, actor number 7 with 3 characters, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yes, I said Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The truth is, he did start in wrestling, but however, he was only really a professional wrestler for like 5 or 6 years. Once he got into Hollywood, he stayed in Hollywood. That dude's probably made over 100 movies. I don't know the exact amount of movies this man's made. I haven't Googled it. I'm not going to Google it. I'm just going to wing it and say easily 100. So then let's get down to breaking down his DLC, downloadable content, or as I would call his playable characters. His playable characters, number 1, would be just comical for absolutely no reason other than to make people laugh and make the game simple and entertaining and fun. How about the Tooth Fairy? What? Yes, I said I would put the Tooth Fairy in this game of Cinematic Beatdown. You know who else I put in this game of Cinematic Beatdown? I put in the Scorpion King. What? I say I put in the Scorpion King. Oh, that's pretty awesome. I like that. What else do you got for us? How about I got The Rock? I mean, let's just be honest. He's so awesome that he could just be himself. So he doesn't have to show up as Dwayne Johnson. He can show up as The Rock and be a playable character. So that's exactly what I've decided to do, is break down and let him be himself as a wrestler and as a true form of a sports entertainer. He would be in my game on the Cinematic Beatdown as The Rock. So then that gives us 21 playable characters. What? I said 21 playable characters. Are you ready? I'm about to list them all again. You have Neil, John Wick, Kai. You have Kurt Sloan. You have Frank Dukes. You have Guile. You have Rocky, Rambo, Lincoln Hawk. Also, you have the Terminator, Mr. Freeze, Dutch. You have Blade, Simon Phoenix. You have Dean Cage. You have Riddick, Torino, and Xander Cage. Then you have The Rock, the Scorpion King, and the Tooth Fairy. So then that leaves only one thing. What does that leave out? It leaves out the boss fights. The boss fights? Hell yeah, the boss fights. That's the most important part of the game. Except for in this game, you'd have 3 bosses. Absolutely 3. Now, why 3? I don't know. It's just something that kind of happened when I was rambling and I was writing all this stuff down. I was just like, oh man, that would just be so cool. Well, then like in wrestling, you know, 1, 2, 3, boom, it's over with. So 3 is a good number. If you're breaking down like how Mortal Kombat breaks it down into columns, as you climb the column, the very first boss you would approach, and then your very first unlockable character that you would see would be no other than Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago. Then, climbing up after you magically beat Ivan Drago, you would come across Chuck Norris as the Walker Texas Ranger. How you doing? Wouldn't that be so cool to be playing a game and then all of a sudden you got to fight Walker Texas Ranger? That'd be beastie. I think so too. And then the number 1 baddest ass man in the planet, Jackie Chan. And then you would have to be able to defeat, you know, Lieutenant Lee off of all the Rush Hours. Special Agent Lee. That's right. If you could get past Ivan Drago, if you could find a way to beat the Walker Texas Ranger, you'd probably get your teeth kicked in by Special Agent Lee. How you doing? That would be my 24-man roster on a Cinematic Beatdown. The 3 unlockable characters would be Ivan, would be Texas Walker, and would be Special Agent Lee in those orders. So now let's break that down a little bit too. So not only are they unlockable, you have to think, well, how are you going to unlock them? you have to make it interesting. You have to make it fun. So this is how I would proceed it. First of all, just by beating the game. I don't care if you die 100 times. I don't care if you die 5 times. I don't care if you don't die at all. Um, if you beat the game, you would unlock Special Agent Wade. Now, if you were to figure out the game, get good at the game relatively beasty, and figure out the controls and all the special moves relatively quick in a 8-man spread, so you beat 8 of my characters without dying one time, you unlock Ivan Drago. That's pretty cool, right? You get to unlock the third strongest boss. So that would be beastie. And then the way you would get Walker Texas Ranger, you would just about have to become a mastermind at this and make it challenging, make it fun, but also make it hard, right? Like, why would you play a game that's not hard or to achieve something? I would play this game until it was achieved, and this is what I would do. You would have to beat 16 in a row. Yes, pretty much beat the game without dying. Over half of the game without dying. You win 16 in a row, then you would get the Walker Texas Ranger as the unlockable character and the second strongest boss. And that, my friends, it'd be how you break it down. And I think that would be a cool game. And here's the thing, too. Not only do I think it'd be cool, I think it'd be competitive, and I think it'd be like almost endless a possibility. So you think about Street Fighter. Street Fighter has been a premier Nintendo game for a very long time, but there's only 6 of them. Actually, if you don't know this, this is full disclosure. They're working on Street Fighter 6 now. It will be released before the end of this year. So, you think about the very first one they released sometime in the 90s, maybe 92, maybe 94, maybe 89. I don't know when they released it, somewhere in the 80s or 90s. And for them to only generate 6 of them, that's kind of crazy, right? So then this is what I would do. I did, obviously, the very first one, the cinematic beatdown. And then you would say cinematic beatdown 2, look who's laughing. And then, so like you would take all these amazing, pretty much same thing. Pretty much you would take actors that are comedians. So what I would do is give you guys like Will Ferrell. I'd give you Adam Sandler. I'd give you John C. Reilly. I'd give you Zach Galifianakis. I'd give you Ed Helms and Seth Rogen, Ben Stiller, Craig Robinson, and Danny McBride. And then break them down into characters and choose bosses and stuff like that. So like essentially I haven't did a lot with the comedy, but like pretty much Little Nicky would be like a top guy. So he'd be the #1 boss. Dewey Cox would probably be my second boss. My third boss would probably be somebody like oh yeah. Probably Thaddeus. I don't know if you guys know a lot about this. Danny McBride, he makes a lot of goofy, funny, ridiculous movies. And one of them that he made was Your Highness. And the character that he was in Your Highness was a character called Thaddeus. So Thaddeus would probably be my third boss, be the first one you'd have to fight. Second one you'd have to fight would have to be Dewey Cox. Third would be Little Nicky. If you beat Little Nicky, you beat the game. How cool would that be? Then you break it down into like, take 3, things getting scary. So then you get a list of horror guys. And here's the thing. So it wouldn't necessarily be actors this time. This time it would essentially be just their characters. So then, so if you just have horror characters and you were to make a part 3, things getting scary, I've kind of broke down a little bit of that, but I've kind of lost it. There we go. All right, I'm back with you. I did lose it there for a second. But I found it. So this is what I would do. I would do essentially the same thing. So when I play games, I like a lot of things to be new, and I like a lot of things to be the same. Right? Repetitiveness is a good thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You hear that? I've heard that all my life, and you're going to hear that all your life as well. So generally 24 characters, 3 of them unlockable. Stuff like that. So this is what I would do. I would just throw like the 21 scariest people in the world at you, and then as the game progresses and you get to the end of it, you would then soon find the icons of horror. That's what I would call the 3 bosses. They would be my icons of horror. So then I'm going to break that down to you because I'm getting just about ready for something to drink, and I got a Bulls game on. I've already been ignoring. So really quick, cinematic beatdown, take 3, things getting scary. This would be my Fight Man roster. If you're ready for it, I hope you are, because I'm ready for it. Here you go. #1, definitely be the Predator. #2, be Alien. #3, be Shocker. #4, be a Werewolf. #5, be Frankenstein. 6 would be Dracula. 7 would be Swamp Thing. 8 would be Crypt Keeper. 9 would be the Mummy, even though, Brent Fraser's an incredible guy, but he's not the Mummy. He's the Mummy Hunter. The guy that played Imhotep. Imhotep would be in my game for show and probably my playable character. Like if this were to ever really be a thing, I would be Imhotep. I mean, he's practically unbeatable. He's practically immortal. He can shift shape with water. He can shift shape with sand. Imhotep's a scary son of a bitch. That's why he's in my game. He's on my list. How you doing? Also on the list, Ghostface. Let's go on. That was number 10. Number 11. This is kind of funny. People might laugh. I hope you do, because I was laughing about it when I was creating this. How about Anaconda? What? What's Anaconda? What's Anaconda? First of all, it's a snake. Second of all, it's a movie with Ice Cube made in about, 97, 98. It's supposed to be a horror flick. They're going through South America, and they pretty much get all ate up by the biggest snake in the world, Anaconda. That would be on my damn horror list in my video game. How you doing? As we progress, number 12 would be Jeepers Creepers. Number 13 would be The Orphan. If you're not scared of that little woman, you ought to be. You've probably never seen that movie. If you haven't, check it out. The Orphan and The Orphan First Take. There's 2 of them. And it's crazy because, I never really thought about what I was doing as I was doing this game, creating all these characters and stuff. I realized that The Orphan was the very first woman-based character that I've come across. But that just speaks character to how awesome she is and how awesome that movie is. Check it out. I'm not kidding. You'll love it if you haven't seen it. The Orphan is amazing and would also be in my round 3 of Cinematic Beatdown. Okay, then you got the Leatherface. You have, excuse me, I put in the Grim Reaper. I put in the Leprechaun, Jigsaw, Chucky. I put in Pinhead. And then I put in The Crow, right? Here's the thing. The Crow is not a scary movie, but they did make that's like an undying franchise. There's 6 or 7 of them. People just love The Crow. And, so for whatever reasons, as long as there's people that grew up in our time from the very first original, I guess they'll always watch it. There was The City of Angels. There was Revolution. There are Revelations, excuse me. Like I said, I think they made 6 of them. So I don't want to be quoted on that. I'm just guessing here. But The Crow would definitely be in my Cinematic Beatdown. And here's the thing, too. If I had to pick a playable character who I'd play, it would probably be The Crow. I would probably be The Crow as I played, Cinematic Beatdown 3. Things Getting Scary. That'd be my playable character. And, Evil Ash. Evil Ash was, first of all, he's from Evil Dead 2, and then the Army of Darkness. But Evil Ash is off of Army of Darkness. The little goody two shoes. So whenever he was in the building, he drank all that thing when the little dudes jumped in his body, and then he grew the second one and he ripped himself apart. So he's like, "You're good, Ash. I'm Evil Ash. You're good, Ash. I'm Evil Ash." Evil Ash would definitely be in my game of Cinematic Beatdown, and probably if I didn't beat the game with The Crow, I'd take a stab at it with Evil Ash, because let's just be honest, I want that boomstick. And I think everybody that watches that movie and loves that movie, that's one of the funniest parts of that movie. It's iconic. This is my boomstick. So everyone wants that, right? Especially if it's in a video game. Evil Ash, you're the man. I'd pick you probably second, only because I absolutely love The Crow, but I'd still pick you. Evil Ash should be in my video game. How you doing? And then you're like, oh, that's so cool. What a cool list, right? Who's the bosses? The bosses are easy. Like I said, they are the most iconic playable characters. Probably already in some video games, you probably can play some of these guys. I know in the Mortal Kombat games, you can already play as Leatherface, Alien, and Predator. So I've kind of, not that I'm ripping off Mortal Kombat, but I'm just these are movies, and this is a video game based off of movies in my head. You know what I'm saying? Playable characters. But anyway, like I said, iconic. The very first boss you'd come across would have to be Michael Myers. Then, if you're able to beat the man in the white mask, you would then have to fight the man with no face, Freddy Krueger. I mean, he has a face, let's just be honest, but it's all burnt up and scarred up, right? But I think Freddy Krueger's going to cut your ass up with all his little crazy ass, fingernails and all the special abilities that he has to put your ass to sleep and kill you in your dreams. Freddy Krueger would be the second boss of my game. And then, Jason, because he's iconic, because there's 13 of them made. Because you can't think about Friday the 13th without thinking about the name Jason. Jason's probably the most iconic movie, horror movie, Halloween movie, however you want to look at it, movie available to watch to everybody and anybody who's a horror fan. Jason would be my number 1 boss. How you doing? And then from there, like this, the possibilities of creating a fight game based off of movie characters is almost endless. There's millions of movies. There's millions of movie actors. This could go on forever. You could say take four, things you've never seen before. Take five, get ready to close your eyes. And then you can like fix in. You could take six. These animations hit. You could build a video game off of animations. You could build video. You could start creating a primetime roster, 4 and 5. You can mix all these guys up. So like you could take John Wick from the first one. You could take probably as well as John Wick. You take Rambo. Then you take as long as Rambo. You could probably take some of the bosses by then, right? So everyone knows who they are. So then you could take Ivan Drago and you throw him over here in a pot, right? For game 4, you got Wick, you got Drago. So then you don't want Rocky. So then you want to take, because you got Drago, you got Wick. You probably want to take somebody like Riddick, right? All right. So then you got those 3 in there, and then on game 2, you would take somebody like, or I would take somebody. I don't even remember what the. Oh yeah, the comedy for take 2. Yeah. So then I would take like definitely put Little Nicky in there. Definitely take. How about the Elf? I don't know if I even listed that roster off, but the Elf is on that roster, so I stick the Elf on there. Little Nicky, the Elf, and then probably take somebody that was kind of cool. How about I did how about but oh, what was that guy's name? One of John C. Reilly's characters was really an unknown character, by the way. The monk off of Anger Management was John C. Reilly, so so the monk off of that would eventually mark its way into game 4, and then game also from building roster 3 to 4. I take simple names, I take somebody. I take the werewolf, put the werewolf over there. I take Frankenstein, put Frankenstein over there. I probably take, I don't know, the anaconda. I throw the anaconda in the mix, and then from there, just like pretty much create other characters that I haven't even talked about. So like you're like, what are you talking about? Well, you could wing it from there, right? Like I said, there's millions of movies, there's millions of movie actors. You could build something off of Mark Wahlberg. Probably, I don't know, maybe who he played as Ted. It would be cool to be like the teddy bear, but I know Mark Wahlberg wasn't the teddy bear, so Ted probably wouldn't work. But that would be interesting. And then you think about, I don't know, older guys too, right? Like Mel Gibson, put the Patriot in there. How phenomenal would that be? Then you think about outside of Mel Gibson, who's older, Bruce Willis, and then you take from Bruce Willis maybe the guy he played off of Fifth Element. I don't remember the character name off of Fifth Element, but throw him in the mix. Then you throw in somebody like I don't know, somebody probably doesn't even belong, but you're gonna throw him in there anyway. Vince Vaughn. Because Vince Vaughn's a very funny guy anyway, and this is all about movie characters. So I would just pick, I'd pick any of his characters. Vince Vaughn would probably make the cut. Another guy would probably make the cut is Will Arnett. He's funny, and he's also a very good guy. Will Arnett always, donates money to charities and stuff like that. So Will Arnett would definitely make the cut. He's just that kind of guy. So that being said, like we're about to wrap things up here. I'm getting a little bit antsy, and I gotta watch this Bulls game, so I gotta hurry up and get out of here. Building a video game based off of movie characters. Is it a thing? No. Should it be? Probably. How do we make it happen? I don't know. Someone needs to get watching this, get with EA, get back with me, and make things poppin'. Because even if I didn't make a dime off it, they'd make money off of me because I'd be buying it, I'd be playing it. It's already franchisable. As I've already excluded to you or explained to you. I'm sorry, not excluded. I meant to say explained. It's just how it is. Like I said, I'm getting antsy, so I got to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by. Always feel free to cash at me, Erick Daniel Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. Have a nice day.